The Meerkats.
The meerkats were gathering, the last of them all, their shadows growing longer in the cool evening sun. Each one dribbled a round spotted ball, scattering leaves, no energy left, no laughter, no fun. They came from the corners of their dusty field patched with stones, where each boy had scraped at least one of his bones. Coach called them to him, one name at a time. Cal, Jules, and Reese were the first to arrive. Slumped against one another, faces covered in grime. Next up came Nuno, impatient foot tapping the ball, arms tight across his chest as Coach continued his roll call. A moment, a sigh, a roll of the eye. The boys watched as Liam came nearer and nearer, alerted to danger as this small boy, so quiet and shy, almost always caused problems, and now one became clearer. The ball flew towards them. Jules ducked just in time. A boy turned windmill. Liam all arms and all legs. Cal and Reese pulled him to his feet, and Jules forgave him his crime. Liam stood shaking, as fragile as eggs. In the distance, at last, the threesome finally appeared. Bare trees behind them, Dylan, Najim, and Montrell. The lion, the star, and the mountain that nobody feared. The meerkats were all there, and none feeling too well.
Listen up.
Coach commanded, and waited till each downward gaze lifted. 8 pairs of eyes met his, and all of them filled with dread. He understood each boy was trembling inside, emotions all twisted, minds clouded with disturbing images of the game they faced ahead.
A living legend, they call him.
All 8 faces darkened.
None like him since Pelé.
Worry lined their brows as Coach continued to say,
A 9-year-old boy, a dancing dribbler who strikes like lightning.
They wondered if there could be anything more frightening.
His name, we all know. They call him Chris Mills.
The boys quietly groaned upon hearing words that sent chills.
A ballerina of balance, an unbelievable cheetah of speed. He can read your mind. A talented team he can lead.
Coach waited a moment. A cool breeze blew, each boy deep in terror, each one picturing clearly his most likely error.
Meerkats stand tall, each one of you all.
The boys kicked the dirt and pulled on their shirts.
Chris Mills may be tough and your single worst dream, but he is one person, and one person alone cannot win a sport designed for a team.
And here, Coach's voice softened, changing in tone.
We are the Meerkats. Alone we are nothing, but together we succeed.
With only a nod from the baseball-capped head the boys could see, knowing what of them the coach now expected, and not a single one of them objected. First, Nuno extended his arm, fingers spread, palm down. Then Cal, Reese, and Jules placed their hands on top, no frown. Next, Dylan, then Najim, and Montrell elbowed Liam. 8 arms extended low, hand on top of hand, boys no longer grim. Coach placed his hand on top of the pile they'd created. All boys looked at each other, but nothing being debated. Geese honked above them, arms rising high. Together they shouted, "Meerkats, meerkats, meerkats, go!" Each boy left the practice, his face with a glow. That night after dinner, their stomachs like hills, each boy shuffled slowly away from his family until, lost in thought, each one dreamed awake, knowing that tomorrow their pride was at stake. Montrell, the mountain goalie, the stopper of points. In his mind, his gloves grew giant, each one ready to go. His body stretched like rubber with flexible joints. He delivered the ball beautifully with each kick and throw. Cal tossed and turned in his mind's eye, no longer a child. He passed the ball to Reese, and Reese on to Dylan. Down the field they went, the crowd impossibly wild. Then Dylan passed back to Cal, who was willing, as Cal dribbled faster, blue and red stripes on his shirt. He kicked the ball hard into the goal, fell, but was not hurt. The crowd on their feet, the boys at his side, they lifted him up and gave him a ride. Soft morning light and the ringing of bells drew Najim from slumber, feeling a little like lumber. Smiling before his dream was forgotten, Najim spent the night facing Chris Mills and his spells. A magnet to iron, the ball to Najim's foot. Shocked at such power, Chris Mills just stayed put. The legend was wrong. He wasn't so skilled. Chris Mills was not so special, and Najim was so thrilled. The Meerkats would win, or at least not get killed. The team slowly gathered at the field around 9. A chill in the air. They kicked the ball to each other, pretending to feel fine. One by one, Chris Mills' team spilled from their cars. Ordinary children, not professional stars. Team captains were called. Nuno and Jules gathered with 2 others and listened to rules. "Is that him?" Nuno asked, but Jules didn't know. The referee tossed the coin. The visitors called tails. Heads beamed up at them, putting wind in the Meerkats' sails. Coach yelled,
"Gather round!"
and each boy obliged, but couldn't help nervously stealing a glance. "Where is he?" they wondered, at once quite surprised. That Chris Mills must just be an ordinary kid, because a player like him couldn't be easily hid.
"He's just over there,"
Coach said quietly at last, indicating a boy of average height and medium build, and looking quite glum with his leg in a cast. Shocked, silent, and stunned, rubbing eyes in disbelief, the Meerkats piled hands one on top of the other. So much did they grow. smiles beaming across each one of their faces, a shout of relief. Meerkats, 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 go! Coach looked at each boy and repeated his line.
We are the Meerkats. Alone we are nothing, but together we succeed.
Motrell ran to goal, his gloves normal size. Then Liam, Najim, and Reese close behind. Defense their main game. They stopped many tries. Then Dylan and Jules, midfielders, always find the ball going back and forth between sides. And finally, the forwards, Nuno and Cal. Together, the team's guides. The Meerkats never knew if Chris Mills could defeat them. But together, they scored 3 times, and they beat them.
Discuss. How do the boys feel after practice? What details in the poem show you this?